3, 2, 1. Boom shakalaka, motherfuckers. Hey, everyone. This is Jared.
And this is Dane.
And this is the Tanned Gents.
The Tanned Gents.
Today we're talking about, amongst other things, fecal transplants. Dane, how are you doing?
Nah, I'm very good, Jared. I'm super glad that we taking this subject on. I mean, we mentioned it last week.
It's no laughing matter.
No, it's no laughing matter. There's
lives are being saved.
I mean, it's a slightly laughing matter, like if that's what you're into, a bit of fecal humor. But
yeah, there's lots of room for that.
Plenty. Yeah.
Let me just put a disclaimer out there. We're going to be talking about fecal transplants and health in general, but we're not medical professionals.
Not in the least.
We don't really know what we're talking about. This is just our take on these issues. And if you could take anything away from this podcast, it would be to question what you know as being the truth. Because it's 2018 and people are getting paid to then donate shit. This is real.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like almost, you could see it as like a business opportunity for some.
Well, what I find interesting about it is that, you know, poo is for many has definitely an unclean image. You know, like what's the most disgusting thing? Poo. Yeah. It's filth. It's waste. And now you have, I don't know who was the first guy to figure this out, but it's helping a lot of people with like these dietary issues and intestinal issues. This guy, I don't know, maybe it was a bunch of them, figured out what we're going to do is take the poo from a donor. Apparently, it's really hard to become a donor. Like, not everybody could do it.
Yeah.
It's very really strict itinerary. Yeah. And they get paid to send in a poo sample. And this poo sample is then processed in a lab. And then these samples, I think there are several ways to do it. You can either swallow a poo pill, or you could get a pipe up your bum into your small intestine or colon, and that's where the poo will be transferred.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, the taking it orally. Just like the thought of that. It's like, you know, like some people, or I've heard the phrase before, like eat shit, you know, and that you literally are. I mean, it's for like medical reasons and whatnot, but like, yeah, it must be a slightly psychological thing when you do it. Like the first time you do it, you must be like questioning something, you know, just maybe alarm bells. I don't know.
I think these people are suffering from like pretty serious things. You know, they're in a lot of discomfort, and through my research, what I've gathered is that you have your poo therapy or your fecal transplants, and then you have your normal school of just give them antibiotics.
Yes.
And the results are insane. People that are taking the poo or the fecal transplants, their results compared to people taking the antibiotics is just huge. They're getting better. It's like miracles.
Yeah, dude. I did a little bit of research before this. I watched a couple of vids on the YouTubes, and I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, give me a sec. Oh yeah, one doctor said that in his experience, he's had a 90% success rate from treating people's like chronic illnesses with this. And 90%, that's incredible. Hey, that's like, as you said, it's like a miracle. And he actually said that as well. It's like a miracle cure for certain conditions.
But it's beautiful because it's it's flipping how we think about something. That's what I like about it, and it just proves that I think it's best to come from a standpoint where you don't know shit, like Like basically, you know, a lot of people are like, I know about this particular field and I'm like a authority or an expert. But then there'll come another dude like, and he'll be like, no, well, you're looking at this totally wrong. Just flip your whole thinking. And now you have this whole new world of like, of poo therapy. Who knows where this could end up?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I heard it's like the like, as you mentioned last week, you touched on it. Like, I think you mentioned like Usain Bolt, like he would be a good poo donor candidate because he's like such a healthy specimen, and so so like with that in mind, it's actually taking like the bacteria from the poo. Like I believe they like dilute it down or concentrate the kind of good bacteria in the poo, and that is what it like they kind of empty you out and then they recolonize your colon with this healthy bacteria, so that the healthy bacteria can do the job that's the like unhealthy bacteria wasn't doing. Yeah,
that's how I understand it too. Like you have your good gut bacteria or your good gut flora.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling, you know, like with some kind of medical ailment, what you do is you go to your doctor and he gives you a full stool analysis. And he'd be able to, if he's this kind of doctor, you know, go to a doctor that recognizes what's happening here. Because a lot of doctors, you know, they're used to their antibiotics. That's how they make their money, their bread and butter, and they're not open for new things. So go to a doctor that knows about this shit and get your stool analysis, and he'll be able to figure out exactly what you need. And then they'll have their list of donors. I'm not sure if this is available in Germany at the moment. I don't know if this would be available in South Africa. Did you look anything like that? I don't know.
I didn't actually. I did see a lot of results for the US, and there was a TED talk with a dude just mentioning that the FDA is kind of like they regard the poo that is being used as a drug. It's like classed as a drug, and he was kind of like talking about it, that it was a little bit negative in that way.
Okay.
And I think that's because then they'd want to like have some kind of control over it, or maybe something like that, you know, so people can't just go and like do this willy-nilly. Yeah. So if it's regarded as a drug, I assume then you need like qualifications and stuff to administer it and whatnot.
Yeah, it should. I mean, yeah, you know, in the perfect world, you'd want to have a hospital kind of situation with like good hygiene and everything. But having said that, I did see a do-it-yourself video on YouTube, how you would go about administering a fecal transplant yourself. It's quite an in-depth video. It's over 30 minutes long.
Jeez.
I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. If you're sitting in a place like South Africa where they don't have this kind of technology, or I'm not sure if they do this in Germany, and you know, if you do enough research, it could be something for you. You know, look into it. I don't know. Maybe it'll help you.
But obviously, this is
if the antibiotics aren't working.
Yeah, this is non-medical suggestions we're giving. Yeah, purely our opinions and whatnot. But like. Yeah, can you talk us through what you saw in this DIY?
Yeah, it was a middle-aged white man, quite tall, with glasses, and he had a desk in front of him with several. Oh, he had a blender.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a pipette.
All right.
And
did he have a friend who donated his?
No, it was just him.
Okay.
And then I kind of skipped through it because, yeah, I just wasn't willing to spend half an hour looking at some guy, you know, because I don't have that issue, you know. I have my health issues, but that's not one of them, thank God. So I just kind of fast forwarded to the end, and that was him. Yeah, he put like a black bag down on the floor, like a plastic black bag, and he kind of you know, he was on his side with the pipette.
Okay.
And then that's how you would administer it. So you'd be on your side, and I suppose that would be the best place to to administer the pipette of poo into your bum. But
yeah.
He
Excuse me laughing. It's
very
purely your
professional.
descriptions that I find comical.
He seemed very professional, well groomed.
Okay.
But it's your risk, so
yeah. It is one's personal risk. I just wanted to, like, we were talking about the poop banks there.
Yes, poop banks.
And just in the video I saw, kind of just to get this out of the way, because there is like a kind of comical side to it, and the staff at the poop bank in the video I watched, they mentioned the comical side of it as well, and they said they take it really seriously because it's obviously like a medical thing, people's health and whatnot, but they definitely recognize that there's like a funny element to it as well. And they said that, like, with their donors and whatnot, they keep it light. So they've actually got like avatars for the donors, which is like pictures on the wall or whatever for each donor with a little name. And a few of the ones that I read off the wall there was Barack Obama, Pudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Ninja Turtle, Abraham Stinkin, the dump back of Notre Dame. Yeah, that was one of them. The dump back of Notre Dame. Yeah, it sounds like they have a good time, eh? But just getting that funniness out.
Tell me something. Tell me something, Dane. We're talking about health. You only start realizing that you have a health problem when you got a health problem. When you don't have a health problem, everything's cool. But this kind of led me to believe that there's a lot of people taking their health for granted, So this is also something that one needs to be aware of, like if you can go for a jog, do a push-up, carry some shopping, you're pretty healthy, I suppose. Like, people have these, like, that's the thing. Like, what is your, like, this is my question to you. What is your kind of, like, what is your idea of good health? And what is your general, like, take on that whole thing?
Do you mean for what I feel for myself, or what I feel for, like, the general public?
Personally.
Okay, personally, for me, I'd say, like, it's not about, like, having toned muscles and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, that's a cool thing if you're into it, and I don't know, like, I suppose I'm a little bit lazy to be into that. But yeah, for me, I think it's about, like, comfort in my own body, and, like, having no pain and being able to run a decent distance without feeling like I want to vomit. There's actually, it made me think of that movie Zombieland. Just an idea that he shared in the beginning of that movie. He said, like one of the most crucial things about, like, being in the zombie apocalypse is, like, cardio. If you can run, then you're way better off than everyone else. So, like, as long as you can run,
because they're kind of slow in Zombieland. Hey, the zombies.
Yeah. They have been faster zombies in other movies.
What is it? World War Z, for example, they were super fast.
Yeah, they were pacey bastards. Yeah.
But hold on. So, because I know what you're saying with the whole, like, being ripped and everything. I got a question for you. How about this? Would you rather be, like, really fat but super intelligent, or, like, ripped but you have here's the kicker, below average size penis but a larger than average size foreskin?
Okay. So if I had to select being overweight, like uncomfortably overweight and super intelligent, like, can I diet and stuff like that, or is that my choice and I can't change it?
Well, you're super intelligent, so you'd be able to find a solution for your weight
then
problem.
I'll take that. Thanks.
But no, you have to be fat all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But that's interesting though.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, hey, look at that fat fuck over there eating his butter fucking donuts or whatever. And why doesn't he just, you have those things. Why doesn't he just stop eating the donut? Why doesn't he just walk more? Why doesn't he just stop drinking the Coke? But it's not that easy. I mean, if you're obese, you have a chronic disease, and a chronic disease is not to be fucked with. You can only, a chronic disease, you can't cure a chronic disease. You can only, lessen the symptoms with treatment plan, and there's a lot of stigma attached to overweight people, and I sometimes feel sorry for them because I think a lot of their issues probably started in the womb, when their moms were like also had some kind of like bad relationship with food, and their whole biology is then fucked up because they come out of the womb into the planet just craving like donuts.
Yeah. But yeah,
so it's difficult for these
like,
guys.
Yeah, but it could be like habitual. Like it could be what you're saying, like they have this craving already, but it could also be like upbringing, if like the parents feed them McDonald's every day because it's easy and cheap. And they select
exactly,
to do
but that's what I'm saying.
Later. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that the McDonald's that they're eating is changing their biology. So their machine, which is their body, like our bodies, like we like sugar, or whatever, but we don't need it as much as these guys. These guys, their machine kind of runs on that kind of stuff, and that's why they're always like eating that kind of sugary food. But so back to that question I asked you, more than average sized length foreskin. So if you had an erection, usually the head comes out. Yours wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah.
So you'd have like a floppy kind of thing going on.
Like a flag at the end of your flagpole kind of thing hanging.
Yeah.
Do you think the breeze would catch it? Like like that floppy?
Yeah. I can hear it. Like a sail in the wind.
Yeah, totally. Jeez. I think it's a tough one, Jared. It's a very tough question you've posed, but like
I think you just have to give me an answer, then we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but I think I'd go for the intelligence and overweight because there are things you can do. I suppose there are things the ripped dude can do as well. Like, he can go get a little op to remove the flag from the pole or something like that. But
no, you're not allowed to do that.
Okay. Then yeah, I'd take the overweight and intelligence.
Really?
And you? Like, which would you take?
I'd take the ripped guy.
Yeah? Ripped guy with the floppy foreskin for life and not that intelligent? Is that your...
No, it was the ripped guy.
Just normal.
Nothing about his intelligence, just a below average penis, but a above average length of foreskin.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, if that's what you want to be.
Have you got any health ambitions for 2018?
To be honest, I have like kind of delayed ones. And I just want to say, like, I want to tell you the reason because I hate New Year's resolutions. They like bullshit. Like it's, I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's maybe the pressure that you made that decision at that moment, like the whole New Year thing. And then like you see it all the time, like people start running on the streets in their jogging shoes and shit because it's New Year's, and it's like the new year. I don't want to do that. So I'm just waiting for a little bit. I don't know how long, but maybe in like the next week or two, I'll start getting back into it. But like, so yeah, my ambition is already to like eat healthier. Because sometimes I am a little bit naughty with like the oily goodies and stuff like that. Yeah, I love me a savory something. Eh? Yeah.
I'm more of a sweet kind of guy. I like a chocolate, a biscuit.
Yeah, I like a biscuit as well. Chocolate I can't really do, man. Like I dig it. I really like it, but if I eat a whole chocolate, like it's almost like so sweet that it like stings a little bit. Like it's because it's just like a bar of sugar. Like I find it quite
depends.
extreme.
I try and go for the darker varieties with more cacao percentage, but it got to a point where I also enjoy the shape of the chocolate. You know, it's like I like the whole. No, like the whole
The kind of phallic,
the unpackaging.
like,
yeah, and no, just no. I don't eat phallic chocolates.
okay.
Just a bar,
Yeah.
but it'll have a certain sheen to it, and it'll have like the stamp of the manufacturer on it. And I'll like if it's got foil, I'll unwrap the foil and I'll look at it before I eat it. I'll like admire it, and then I'll eat the whole bar. And that feeling afterwards is like, you know, it's like a bad feeling because, you know, you have your two different brains. You have your like higher brain and lower brain, and your higher brain's like your the thinker, you know, and the lower brain's just like the warrior or whatever. Well, every time I do that, it's like I know it's not going to do me any favors to eat a whole bar of chocolate or a whole package of biscuits, because at the end of it, I'm going to feel bad, and for my like health goals, it's just it doesn't work out. But I do it anyway because I think it's the fucking chemicals, my brain, the dopamine and shit like that, serotonin. I just want that hit of sugar.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like I get that I'd get that for like a whole slab of chucky, but for me it's more the savory stuff. So it'll be like, I like dread saying
Pies.
it, like KFC. Like I'll eat some KFC and like I'll want it so badly. Like when I think about it, and then I'm like, let me just get some chicken, and then I'll eat it, and then like it's tasty going down and whatnot. But usually after KFC, like I feel like a little bit dirty, and
well, it's all
like
that
the oily
grease.
Yeah, and also like I've experienced this once or twice. I've got like mild chest pains, and I'm sure it's from the KFC because it doesn't happen like, it's a certain type of like pain that I feel. Maybe it's like my shame and my guilt just like breaking my own heart or something.
Or it could just be the grease, but I think it's like these foods are like designed to be tempting, you know, like everything at the mouthfeel, for example, on a KFC. I don't eat it often. I haven't had KFC in ages, but a KFC is that crunchy mouthfeel, you know, like, and then
the texture,
the greasiness, and then like a good old, I had a good burger the other day. That was really nice, but also greasy, and afterwards you kind of feel like there's like a burger craze sweeping over Munich. There's loads of burger places now, but this place was called
like gourmet
Burger House.
kind of things.
Yeah, there's that part of it, and there's a really popular one and called Hans im Glück, and I was always like, this isn't a burger. This is this. For me, a burger's got to have a certain amount of grease, and you know, when you squeeze it, the juice has got to kind of run out of it. You know, it's got to be like kind of dirty, and it's got to, the roll, the burger, the toppings, all needs to kind of like mold into one thing. Whereas this one was like they had like their fancy bread and then like their fancy patty on top, and then that was it.
Yeah.
What were we talking about again? How did we get to burgers?
It was something about like KFC, and then you had a great burger. Yeah. I just want to ask you that same question you asked me. Like, do you have any health ambitions for 2018? And what is good health for you?
Yeah, good health for me is similar to yours, feeling comfortable in my body, and if I need to, being able to like run for like 10 kilometers without having a heart attack. And also what I've been trying to do recently, because I don't know if you noticed this, but every time I do like an exercise,
Yeah.
I not only feel good afterwards, like my body feels good, but I feel mentally good afterwards.
Yes, totally. It
Where you get
definitely
like a bit of a buzz.
does something. Yeah, I think it's like endorphins or something released when you do that thing. Healthy body, healthy mind. That's a saying.
Yeah, but health ambitions, I mean, I've had this thing going on for years now where I'm trying to get rid of my love handles. You know, those fatty deposits on the waist area.
Yeah.
And I've had them forever, but I got to a point where, you know, I'd lost weight, but they were still there. I think they're like stubborn little fuckers.
Yeah.
And like you really have to, you know, I'm not one of these people that like write down things, like log exercises and gyms. I generally don't like gyms. I don't like just seeing the same faces, you know, and those guys like moaning in front of the mirror, like doing their curls and shit. I like to do it like more like organic, like, okay, well, let me avoid certain foods and let me just like maybe go for a 20-minute run every day or do a bit of this, do a bit of that. But more often than not, I can't get into the routine. And you know, I don't want to beat myself up about that. It's just to answer your question, that is one of my goals for 2018. Is just to get into some kind of routine where I'm like, I don't even really have to think about it, you know, because I do think it is important, you know, because you were getting on in age, you know, so I want to be healthy way into my you know 60s, 70s, 80s. I want to be able to still do things then that I'm doing now, and I think good exercise regime or good routine will help me. And also obviously your mind is also important, so exercise the mind too, you know, like I think it's a Will Smith quote, read and run every day or something, I don't know.
I recall that. The whole thing of like kind of staying in shape now, it's about like keeping your machine tuned so that it doesn't like fall into disarray, you know. And when you're older, like what you do now kind of gets carried into that future you.
For sure, use it or lose it, you know.
Something I wanted to say, just about the love handles quandary. Like I experienced that as well, but like there is, I mean, if it's for you, then cool, you know, if that's what you want to do. But regarding like society's take on it, like the dad bod is in, man. Like it's there's nothing to worry about there.
Looking so good,
so daddy.
I can't wait until summer, you know.
With the dad bod out.
It's interesting that you say that, because even, you know, people think, females have a lot of pressure to look a certain way, and I don't want to sound like I'm like moaning or whatever thing, but I do think that even today, you know, like even the young kids, whatever, teenagers especially, they get kind of like, I don't know, like persuaded by certain media how the body should look. And I think everybody is different. You know, you can't all be walking around like a model. I think the people on the front page of your like whatever Men's Health or Women's Health, whatever, they're the exception. Like they're not the norm.
Yeah, for sure.
And
for sure.
If they're going to be like, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of discipline. I'm saying discipline is good. Yeah, go ahead if that's your thing. But
it's also a lot of sacrifice.
It's a lot of work, man. Yeah, sacrifice. Like and especially with like a kind of like a social setting. You know, like having a few beers. Like I've tried like not drinking, but it's fine to drink. You just have to know where your boundaries are. You know, you don't have to get like drunk. Just have like your 3 beers or whatever, and then you're cool. And talking about sweets, going back to sweets. So I was in Austria, and there, you've also been there. They love their coffee and their cake, and then in between they'll have, during Christmas time, they'll also have plates of biscuits coming in. like all the time. And I just, on the 28th, I said to myself, I'm not eating any more of this shit. And the cake also, I just had enough of it. And the people couldn't really understand it. They're like, oh, but, there's no sugar in this cake. But I'm like, what do you mean? It's a cake. It's got sugar in it. It's like, some people will be like, that's, you do get you'll have your healthier cakes.
Yeah, like carrot cake over like chocolate cake.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, that's fine to eat where basically it's still cake.
Yeah, cake is cake. Yeah. It's very interesting, the whole cake in Austria thing. It was like, I recall it was like breakfast, then we have some cake and tea or coffee, and then it was lunch, and then there's cake, and then there's a bit of cake, and then dinner, and then cake.
And then cake after, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about, because it's cold there, right? And it's like the fuel that you need to like fend off the cold. Is that where it comes from?
Yes, that, and probably like they have a quite a strong kind of like hospitality kind of like culture, whereas if you're a guest, there's always got to be something on the table. If there isn't something on the table, it's like I'm not being a good host because. So I think it's that side too. But a lot of the people there, like you don't see many obese people, even with all the cake.
That's
and everything.
True,
that might be the mountain air or whatever. I wanted to ask you something. Have you had any health scares?
I haven't had any like kind of huge, life-changing, immediate scares. Well, I mean, except for like the odd, like, wake up with a stomach cramp or something. And it's like, what the hell is that? Is that appendix or what? Worrying. But one thing I do have is I have like this ongoing issue with acid reflux, with heartburn.
Okay.
And it's like I've put it down to like when I eat bready things, like things that are like very kind of bready and starchy and stuff. Yeah, KFC as well. Or when I'm being a piggy and I just like overeat. Like I love a good overeat. It's like when you're in it, it's like you just want to go all the way. Like keep putting the taste, the flavor in. Keep experiencing that.
I know all about that.
Yeah, like when you have to kind of lie down after Christmas dinner, or it's sometimes. Yeah, there's some bad weeks I've had in my life when it's just like, boom, do that like every day for like quite a few days in a row. Yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot for the body to like deal with, all that food. Like, because I don't think we're designed for that much and that kind of variety that we have these days. Like we're privileged enough to live in like a society where we can have our fucking sushi or steaks and then some Italian food and then some Spanish food, and like whereas staples, like usually you want a good staple and everything will kind of like take care of itself, whether it's beans or maize or whatever.
Yeah, there are some countries and cultures with those kind of staples. I was actually watching this similar to Life in a Day. It was called India in a Day. And yeah, so it's in like people in India, like, and a lot of them, there's a lot of like inequality there, so a lot of people are struggling, and it's so weird because something really like just something that popped out for me was the guy was saying like an onion, like they can't get onions, and like sometimes they like the onions are too expensive. I don't know if it's because onions like a big thing there or whatever, like everyone wants them, but they had just the skins of the onions that they were cooking with and eating in this in this like certain situation. But like an onion, like I take that for granted, like whenever I cook a meal, I like chop up an onion and throw that in first thing, and it's
and these
so
guys
weird.
So that's like they're eating onion skins.
Yeah, onion skins and like maybe some rice, and like the onions kind of like I take it as being like quite a big part of the meal then if there's so much focus on it,
I think it forms a base for a lot of Indian foods.
Yeah, I think so too. Sorry, like I just want to continue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just regarding that that health scare thing, that question you asked me. Yeah, like the acid reflux thing, the heartburn. Um, yeah, it's a weird thing because like I've had it for like a lot of my life. I think since like a teenager or something, and it's never something that I've actually put the effort in to go and like get checked out. You know, I did it once. Like I was at a doctor for like something else, and I was just like, yeah, I've got the heartburn thing, and then they gave me something that I took for like a month, and in that month I could eat anything like pie, whatever, and I didn't feel heartburn. So this one thing like made all the difference. But they were like, yeah, but this isn't something you can stay on all the time, and you should be fine afterwards. And if you aren't, then it's a mechanical issue. And so after it happened, like after I finished the course or whatever, after that month, then I started getting heartburn again. So I take it it's a mechanical issue, which is like, I don't know, the sphincter at the top of the stomach like doesn't close properly or something. Yeah.
But would that have any? Would your diet would obviously be helping or hurting that mechanical issue, right?
Definitely, yeah. Like I can put it down to, I mean, the fact that if I eat like a white bread sandwich, like I get heartburn, compared to if I eat like, I don't know, like a different type of bread, like rye or like a crazy whole wheat or something like that, then I don't get it as much, or sometimes not at all. So I can definitely pin it on certain things, but like sometimes at the time it's like, let me just do it, just eat the food, and then
deal with
experience it. But it's like I just want to say about that. It's like probably like a little bit irresponsible for me not to have like sorted this issue out, because it could it could cause other things, like other
like a kind of a knock-on effect kind of thing.
Yeah, like maybe like an ulcer, or like
where you end up with a much bigger problem after like.
Yeah, and like I like when I think about it now, it's like kind of irresponsible. And if a friend of mine was experiencing something like that, I'd be like, dude, go get that checked out, But yeah, it's
dude, go get that checked
out.
Sometimes
we're just like, yeah, totally. Yeah, sometimes it's just like, we're apathetic, It's like if it's not constant and all the time, then you like don't deal with it.
Well, yeah. This is the thing, like I mentioned before, like people only realize they have a health issue when they have a health issue, but it's a I think once you pass a certain age, you also got to be working on your health, like if you want to maintain good health. If I may, I'd like to talk to you about my prostate exam story.
Yes, please do. This is a health scare you went through, right?
Well, I was trying to. We were trying to have children at the time, and we wanted to check that everything was right from my wife's side and my side. So I went to a urologist to check out my soldiers to make sure that they were fully loaded, And so I arrived there at the doctor's, and I had no idea this was going to end up where I have a man's finger in my arsehole. Yeah, that's how it ended up. Yeah. So it started out, like, I checked my cock out and my balls, and then he was like, "Have you done a prostate exam?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, we should do one. You're at that age. We should definitely do one." And I thought, I already got my pants down. He's, I might as well.
Yeah. So, you there?
So I got it done. I might have made a bit of a mountain out of it, out of a molehill at the end, because I was more the surprise of it. That I wasn't happy. I wish he had just informed me that there would have been a potential prostate exam at the consultation, because then I would have been mentally prepared for it. It's just that initial surprise that got me. But I did it. Everything was fine, and I really recommend to all you guys out there, if you're over 30 years old, or I think 35 years old, go get yourself a prostate exam. It's quick. He puts a little finger condom on, and he sticks it up your asshole. It's uncomfortable, but this is nothing.
Was it painful at all?
No, not at all. This is nothing on what could happen, because prostate cancer is a big thing, and it's getting bigger. And this brings me to a rest in peace to a Mr. Hugh Masekela, who passed recently from prostate cancer. What a legend, a legendary musician, and a legendary person. Just to nail down the point that, if you got any kind of like hang-ups about this kind of like thing where people are probing your asshole, just think about the bigger picture. I understand, I wouldn't have voluntarily gone and done it. I think it's difficult to do that, but at my specific situation, it kind of happened organically on the day. But I would recommend go and do it, man. Have you done one?
I haven't done one, no. I just want to say good on you for following through there. I know I can imagine that it would be like a very awkward situation. And you said it was like, it kind of caught you off guard and stuff like that. So like, well done for pushing through that wall of like, anxiety or whatever it is that you'd experience when someone's suggesting putting a finger into your asshole.
Yeah, but I mean, Dane, think about the chicks, the chicks. They go into gynaes they're in and out of the gynaes, and they're doing all kinds of probes, and they're not complaining. So we got nothing to complain about if we go for a little prostate exam. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've in my life had a suppository or two, and I know that like it's a very odd sensation when it goes in. So I can imagine like someone like rooting around in there can be a little bit crazy.
And he had wire rimmed spectacles. I'll never forget that.
Did he have a moustache?
No, clean shaven but wire rimmed spectacles. Very.
That's better. I think with the moustache it would have been like a little bit, I don't know,
gay.
No different.
Moustaches, they have moustaches have like a gay connotation, probably because of Freddie Mercury, and then they also have like kind of a manly, like lumberjack connotation also.
Yeah, totally. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Another thing I'd like to mention is I went for a skin cancer scan. Now, this is something, especially you South African guys, go for a skin cancer scan. I think South Africa is one of the hot spots, for like your average white male. I think it's Australia and South Africa where they have the highest amount of skin cancer, just because of the sun's heavy that side, whereas opposed to here in Germany, it's not that bad, But anyway, so you go for a skin cancer scan. I went for one, and it was also quite funny because she also kind of surprised me. So you're on your back, and then you got your clothes, you got your underpants on, and then you're on your stomach, and then she can't. This happened very quickly, but she mumbled something at the time. But before I knew it, she had parted my bum cheeks.
Okay.
Because what she wanted to do was, obviously, the skin around your anus can also get skin cancer, even though it's not going to see any sun. But that's how fucked up skin cancer is. It can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was pretty bummed about that because excuse
nice
the pun.
Use of the word bummed.
Yeah, because this is, first of all, she's a female, so I want to be I want to present the cleanest Jared
for sure
available. That's available. And I consider myself I think I have a very good kind of daily hygiene thing, but sometimes I won't shower or skip a day, or maybe I'll Maybe I've had some KFC the night before, and my arsehole isn't as immaculate as I'd like it to be, especially if somebody's going to be looking directly at it. There might be some sheen to it or whatever.
Sure. Like eye contacts. You try to avoid that as much as possible. Yeah.
So, but skin cancer, had a few moles, nothing malignant.
Yeah.
But another thing I'd recommend is go get yourself, there's two things. Get yourself a prostate exam and a skin cancer scan.
So do they go to every piece of skin on your body? Like, is that the intention to do? Like, did she look at your like genital area? Did she?
No, I told her I wasn't.
Soles of your
feet,
have any between your toes.
She asked about my penis.
Okay.
She asked if I have any moles on my penis. I said no.
Okay. All right. And were you being truthful?
No, I don't have any moles on my penis.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I thought you might have just been avoiding the possibility of looking at your penis and you weren't comfortable with that.
No, I mean, I don't think it would have been necessary for her to see my penis if there was no moles on it. And maybe the hedges weren't trimmed,
Yeah.
So she surprised me on the arsehole thing, but
so I'd say like a good takeaway from this would be if you're going to the doctor, like be it for anything, like they might surprise you with something. So take a shower beforehand, make sure you feel clean so that you can avoid that kind of she's going to look into
embarrassment.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Sure.
A quick prostate story again from a friend of mine. This is a horror story. I think more of a horror story because he's kind of a conservative person. So he went for a prostate exam.
Yeah.
And they took him into the consultation room, and there was not only the doctor, but two young female assistants who were going to be taking part in the procedure because they were like studying to be doctors,
Yeah.
And this for him was a huge thing, because he was prepared for it, but he wasn't prepared to have the two young females looking there. But
okay, and it's not optional. He can't say like, "Hey, I'm not comfortable."
No, I think he could have, but like you just get caught up in the moment, and you're like on a railroaded into these kind of positions, where it's difficult to be like, But
kick up a fuss or
very bad time.
Yeah, sure. Something that I just thought about now, because it's kind of written in front of me, is people lately, like it's kind of like a societal thing, just like also talking about our sweets and chocolates and stuff. Sugar. I understand sugar is getting a bit of a bad rep these days. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? And
I think sugar, like as far as I understand it, we're wired to crave that taste because back in the day we'd only come across it when we were like found some honey like once every month and then just gorge ourselves on it. But nowadays, because it's relatively cheap and you can like form it you can make it into any kind of form you want to. So you can just put that in kind of like loads of products, which I think these days, if you go through the supermarket, it's just like oversaturated with products which contain sugar and like not even just the ones that you think straight off the bat, like your chocolate or whatever. There's like all kinds of savory stuff with sugar in it, and I think because we have this like natural kind of predisposition to crave sugar or to want sugar, it's difficult these days to you have to literally like say, hey, no, stop, make a conscious decision, be firstly aware of it, then shop that way, knowing that these guys are out there to fucking ruin your health, by the amount of sugar that's out there. Because there's also
because it's often like cheaper for them, right? Like they use like corn syrup or like very
exactly
like pretty bad methods of like creating sugar in the cheapest form so that they can just add an addictive taste to something. Or
for sure. And it's like salt is also a big thing, but I think sugar is just in so many products. It's just like, man, like everything has sugar in it these days. And I think we as humans, especially in your developing country or developed countries, also developing countries, because there you'll have places like Mexico, who I think like they've overtaken America now with obesity. These guys are like hooked on like cola and stuff like that, whereas I don't think that the education is also not there, so it's like you see in the shop and you think it must be good for me. There's no doubt in your mind, why would a company put this in here because if it's not good for me, and it tastes good, so it must be good and it's cheap. So I'm going to buy like 5 gallons of cola, drink it per day, and then you're going to end up with type 2 diabetes and serious health effects, health consequences, or end up with some kind of other crazy issue like obesity.
It's crazy, like you say, we're kind of predisposed to it, and we've also been kind of conditioned to like not be at all kind of startled by how sugary something can be, like even flavor wise, and it's like, take for example, I used to have 2 teaspoons of sugar in my tea whenever I had tea, like growing up and whatnot, and it was just the norm for me. That's how tea tasted. And like if I had a sip of someone's tea and it didn't have the 2 sugars in it, was like, ugh, that's disgusting kind of thing. But like it's like a conscious decision to wean yourself off. And since I've done that, like I'm down to 1 sugar now, like, or not even like a heaped one, just like, just a lazy sugar. There you go, pop some sugar in there. And it's like, it's crazy. Like if I have a 2 spoons of sugar tea, if I have a sip of that, it's like insanely sweet for me, and now like the norm is like just that change of kind of habits. Like the norm is 1 sugar or even no sugar with some things. Like with coffee, I can have no sugar, whereas before, like it would be a big thing for me if there was no sugar in coffee. It would be like, that's like difficult to drink this, so you can cut it out, and like if it tastes stiff at first, like you'll get used to it, and so that's just a bit of like encouragement that it is possible.
For sure. No, and be aware that your body has built up a resistance to non-sugar products. So for you, or just speaking generally, for people that have been eating a lot of sugar, for them a sip of water tastes like shit because there's no sugar in it. That's because you've fucked up your levels in your in your taste and everything, and your mind. So it's like some people just drink Coke, it's like because it's sweet, but what's wrong with water? It's not sweet, that's fine, but that's the thing. Sugar should still be like, back in the day it was crazy. If you had a piece of chocolate back in the day, it was like a special occasion, like, oh, let's share this, cut it up, whatever. Chocolate, we got chocolate, oh my god, chocolate. Nowadays for 20 euros, I can go down to some kind of discounter and buy like 3 kilograms of chocolate products for 20 euros and eat that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Whereas,
it's crazy.
But then again, it's like
so accessible now. Yeah.
Most of it isn't chocolate. Most of it, it's not the cacao. It's not that high cacao content. It's like most of it's just the cheap sugar, white sugar.
Yeah, white sugar with some chocolate flavoring, and there you go. Yeah.
I think, I think it's important that people are just like aware of it, and like with health in general, like it doesn't hurt to like read up on things and kind of, although if you, I think the whole diet thing is a whole big mess, because on the one hand they say eat this and then the next week it's eat that, but I don't know. Like, I don't know for you personally. I don't know what your take on is on like a diet, for example. Like, what would you say is like a good diet? Like, what kind of foods should one avoid? Or, I think most of us would probably common sense to say, hey, avoid too much sugar, avoid too much alcohol, avoid too much fried food.
Yeah, I think that is it. And for me, as you said, I was gonna say it's a common sense thing. It's like what what does the earth kind of supply to us, like in abundance? It's like fresh fruit and veg is there, and so that's a thing. And then like if you're a meat eater, which I am, then a bit of meat and like don't overdo it. And yeah, just like common sense, man. That's there. Like yeah, yeah,
I think it's
it's
lacking
right
also
there.
with a lot of people, like, because they don't know that you could make a perfectly good spaghetti bolognese in 20 minutes as opposed to buying like the glass, because they don't have the time to cook, or they don't want to know about cooking. Common sense is a big thing. I don't know. Can you teach common sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think you
You're
can.
just gonna have an open mind.
Yeah. I think the enemy of common sense is ignorance, perhaps. So like people just should,
where
as you said,
put
have
up
an open mind and just
exactly.
Yeah. Just back to the sugar thing quickly. I've heard like some rumors, like whether it be in the media or just word of mouth from people, that sugar causes cancer. Like I don't know if there was a study done or something. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't. The cancer thing is also crazy. Like, there's always things happening. I think sugar probably has the potential to cause cancer. Cancer is such a crazy thing, though. Like, such a gnarly beast. It's like, it kind of like on the one hand, for me, it's like it's from nature, right? Cancer is from nature. Would you agree with me if I say to you that cancer is from nature? Obviously, you do have cancers which are not from nature. Whereas if you're working in a factory, for example, in a coal mine, and that is going to cause some kind of cancer. But what I'm saying is that cancer in itself is a natural occurring thing.
I'm not too like knowledgeable on it, but I think I get what you mean, and I think it is, and it could be like that. I don't know how true this is, but maybe there is like cancer in people or cancerous cells or something, and it's just about whether they get fed or something like that. But then you get like different types of cancer, so I'm not sure how that all works. I haven't done much research on the topic. Yeah, but like skin cancer, for example,
topic.
like that's radiation. That's like solar radiation on your skin doing something. Like, yeah, it could be a natural thing. And I think maybe the like with the rumor thing of sugar causing cancer, like whether it's rumor or studies that are legit or whatever, it could be a case of the cancer cells exist, and like eating too much sugar or something feeds them, or they thrive in that environment or something like that. That's just like I don't know how true that is. That's a thumb suck. I'm just
It sounds like it could be true, but I think like if you want to take something away from this podcast, it would be maybe avoid sugar and go for your prostate exam, go for your skin scan, and just be aware of how good you have it when you are healthy.
Yeah, and I think also if you feel something wrong with your body and it's like kind of a persistent thing, don't be like me. Don't be apathetic about it. Just get it checked out and like make sure that everything is right, because like your body is your vehicle through this life. It's the little transport pod that you're sitting in. And you only get one. Until they can replace everything with robotic stuff. Like, you have the body that you have, and you need to take care of that. And
you got to maintain it.
So that's an important thing. Is like, and a stitch in time saves 9, they say. So like, rather catch something early and like get that shit sorted before down the line you got to like get 9 stitches, as far as that saying goes.
There's no stigma attached to going to the doctor and asking for help, and especially with your prostate exams and skin exams, like it's fine. It's not a problem. Like it's natural. These people are professionals. There's no stigma attached. So go out there, get it done, and talking about fecal transplants. Have an open mind for your health. Like don't just take the antibiotics. Question it, research it. Have a look what is available, but then it's a fine line. Don't get caught into like these like scams. That's another thing.
Yeah, I think that what was I going to say? I forgot. What I was.
You forgot.
Say. Yeah.
Getting old.
It was something about the mind. Got to keep that shit active.
Read and run every day.
Yeah. Oh, if read and run every day, as Will Smith says. But if you go for like a prostate exam or something like that, and it's a daunting experience and it's awkward and it's like fucking going through the trenches type of thing in your mind, if it's a tough thing, you'll come out of there with an awesome story, like an awesome experience that you get to share with other people. And that's one thing to take away from it. Never mind the fact that it's like you'll be getting your health checked and like your body could be more amazing than you thought it was, and like do the thing, do the checks, make sure everything's right. Like,
don't be afraid of doctors.
Yeah, and as you said, just be careful with the whole antibiotic thing, because like I hear that it's not a good thing that like there's too much antibiotics being pumped into everyone's bodies, and it's like antibiotics kill the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, or the bad and the good. So it's like I think it's, well, from what I understand, it's quite a negative thing, and it's like lacking a bit of foresight, because it's making things like they constantly have to reinvent the antibiotics or like upgrade them because things get used to them, like
for sure. And it's also, I mean, antibiotics I think are for when you're really sick, like these days I think it's getting prescribed for like almost everything, just because pharmaceutical companies are making shitloads of money on it. So the less you have them, the better they're going to work. So just ask your doctor when he does prescribe antibiotics if there are any homeopathic alternatives, or ask your gran. Maybe she's got some kind of tip. They will.
Yeah,
they survived without antibiotics. Yeah,
they always got a tip. They've always got a tip. But yeah, and I believe it's like it's a societal thing as well, because it's not just for you, the antibiotics, like your body will get used to it. It's like whatever the ailment is, like that is spread amongst everybody. So if you're like taking too many antibiotics, like whatever the ailment is could get used to that antibiotic and it won't work for someone else anymore, because it's like now it's like a super virus or whatever. Maybe I'm just being a little bit exaggerative here, but yeah, I think that's a thing.
No, for sure. Where the virus builds up immunity to the antibodies or whatever. So it just gets stronger and stronger, and then at the end of the day, you have like some kind of plague or something. I don't know, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we all remain healthy, and that we're conscious of our health and we maintain it, like you would a car. Take it to the workshop now and again. I'm not sure, Dane, if you have anything else to say. Would you like to wrap it up?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've talked about what we wanted to talk about, and we've mentioned some things, and hopefully there's some positive things that people can take away from this, and potentially a little bit of advice or encouragement at least. And just as we said before, I think we said at the beginning and dropped one in the middle as well, and now at the end, I just want to say we aren't medical experts or anything. This is like our opinions. So we just disclaimering there, do your own research, chat to professionals. Yeah. Always important to disclaim.
Any ideas for next week's podcast?
Wow. Maybe something fruity, something foodie.
Fruity.
Like what to fruity or foodie. Maybe that'll tickle the fancy. Or something about like movies. I know that's two very different subjects I've just touched on, but like
movies. Yeah, that could be a good one.
Yeah, some 2017 wrap-ups or something, like our take on.
I haven't watched a good movie in ages.
Like, yeah, I've got a list that I want to check out. It's just finding the time, but yeah, I love a good movie. Shoo.
Yeah, so if you guys have enjoyed this, please help us to spread the word by sharing with your friends, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. This was
Thank
great.
you,
Very
Dane.
informative for myself as well.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this format with you about these things.
Indeed. Thank you, Jared. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cool. Cheers. Bye.